Welcome everyone to the Future Podcast. Today we have a single mom of two who was in 24,000 pounds in debt, and she continued her journey to build wealth and became a multi-millionaire. Today she will be sharing more about her journey on how she achieved that so you can duplicate her success. Abby, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Can you maybe quickly introduce yourself for those who doesn't know much about you?
So my name's Abi Hookway. I'm a property investor and entrepreneur. Over the last 7 years, I've built a 7.7 million pounds UK property portfolio, and I've built my business to just over 6 million turnover.
Nice, nice. That's amazing. Can you actually maybe take us back now to how you actually got started in all of this? Because I know initially you were in debt, like 7 years ago, you were in debt. Then what happened exactly? Like what inspired you to just get into this journey?
Yeah, so like most people, I was taught that you work really hard, go to school, go to
Mm,
uni, get a degree, work up the career ladder, pay off your mortgage, pay into a pension, and then retire. So I
mm,
was on my journey of doing that, and I got divorced, which is very hard for anybody that's been for a divorce and you're splitting money and
mm.
different things. And I
Yeah,
found
it's
myself
hard.
very hard. I
Mm,
found myself at the age of 31 on my own as a single mum in a little tiny rented house in 24 grand worth of debt, thinking, well, I've done well. I've done everything that I got told to
mm,
do, and I've worked really hard, but actually I didn't build any wealth because when I sat
mm,
down to split what me and my husband had, we hadn't built anything. We brought money in, but it hadn't done anything.
mm,
And I just felt like a complete failure, really, at the age of 31, thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And I can't continue the way I am. I was finding it even difficult at the time because I worked a job, a 9 to 5 job. So all I seemed to do was work, 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 then coming home to try and look after the kids. And I was just exhausted every day. And I was like, how is this life? This can't be life. There must be a better
mm,
way to do it. And I started looking around on the internet, looking at people, and I was like, how do these people have all this money and they're not, working it all the time? And they
yeah.
just seem to be going off and doing things.
Mm,
And it was then I made the connection with having assets and having assets that pay for your life. I met a guy called Paul Smith, who was already a multi-millionaire, and he talked a lot about using other people's money to invest in
mm.
property and how property real estate can really change your life. So I set out to meet Paul. Paul mentored me, and I got educated and built what I've got today.
Nice. No, that's good. And can you you mentioned that maybe Paul helped you out on how to use other people's money because I know this is the game that most people don't understand. So how were you able to maybe get started in your first property, like going from have 24,000 pounds in debt to getting your first property?
Yeah, so I got the education. I think that's really important. You can't really build wealth without being educated. So I got
Yeah.
educated in what to do with property and how to work with angel private investors. And the very first one I came across was my dentist. So my dentist has got his dental practices, he's got a lot of money in the bank.
Nice.
He doesn't want to do property, but he doesn't know what to do with his money. Like
Mm,
most people, they leave their money in the bank. The interest rate in the bank's rubbish. So their money's being eaten away. My
mm,
dentist had tried stocks and shares before, but he was worried because you can lose all your money overnight in stocks and shares. Crypto's the Wild West, and it was back then, 7 years ago.
yeah.
Nobody was touching it. So he wasn't sure. And he didn't like the idea of having tenants either. So when I was speaking to my dentist, I convinced him that it'd be a great idea for him to lend me money. I would buy a
Mm,
house with it, do it up, and I'd sell that house and I'd give him a 10% return on his money. So I'd have his money for a year, he'd get his money back plus 10%, and it'd be secured on the asset. So I gave him
mm,
like bank grade security on his money, which stocks and shares couldn't do, crypto couldn't do.
mm.
And yeah, he was my first investor. So I bought the house, did it up, sold it, made 70 grand, which was life changing for me back then. I mean, 24 grand worth of debt, my two little kids. I don't own a house, and I've just gone and made 70 odd grand from doing this. My dentist was
Nice.
happy. So he's like, oh my God, can we go again? Can you take more money? So yeah, it just kicked everything off.
Yeah, that's good. And also, it's really interesting. You found your dentist. He kind of become your private investor. Then everything starts from there because a lot of people, I think, even for me back then when I started out like 5 years ago, I did not know how to get money because I did not have much money. So my cousin was the first kind of investor. He invested with me. I mean, he's still an investor today. So I did the same thing you did to your dentist. But for me, I'm not into property. I'm mostly into businesses. Back then,
Yeah,
I built businesses from scratch, but now I am buying businesses, scaling them up,
yeah,
and selling businesses. So yeah,
love that.
I love the way you started. Like it's gonna be we have similar background on that. Then
Yeah.
how did you scale things up from there? Like after the first property, you paid back the dentist plus the 10%. He was happy. He wanted to do more. So what happened after that?
Yeah, I started to do more property. So instead of selling them, I would do what's called buy, refurb, and refinance. So instead of
Yeah.
selling the asset, I put a mortgage on the asset and that pays back the
Mm.
private investor. So I started to buy more property. I worked with more private investors. I had a guy from Switzerland that had a lot of money in the bank in Switzerland, but Switzerland at the time were going through negative interest rates. So it was charging
Wow.
him to keep his money in the bank. So he was like, you
Wow,
can have
that's
mine.
crazy.
Yeah, and I just started to build and I started to do like big £1 million holiday homes, commercial property,
Mm,
and yeah. And then I started to get asked by people, well, can you give us like really good properties? Can you tell us what to invest in, what to buy? And there's a lot of
nice.
people that maybe didn't want to lend me the money, but they wanted to build assets, but they were very busy and wanted something done for
Mm,
them. So I opened my business, Redmayne Smith, with my business partners, and we decided that we would, whatever we were investing in, we would, give everybody else and get everybody else to, help them build their wealth too. So that business
nice,
has scaled very nicely now, and we help people all over the world. My latest is in America, so helping some Americans to invest in UK real estate, which is
nice.
lovely.
No, no, nice. That's good. I love that game when you like buy, rehab, refinance, then just continue doing this. But I don't know about the UK much, but is there a limit on how many properties you can refinance so that way you can scale up your portfolio, or like just the sky's the limit basically? And how does
Yeah,
that work?
yeah, as long as you're doing it in a company structure. So anyone in the world can open a UK limited company.
Mm,
That UK limited company can get 75% funding. So as
mm,
long as you're doing it in a limited company, you could be, refinancing 5, 10 properties in that limited
mm,
company. It can't
nice.
be done in your personal name, and that's where people trip up. So people think, oh, I'll
Mm,
just buy a few properties in my name, but you get clobbered by tax. The funders don't
mm,
like it, so it all needs to be done professionally. And then the sky's the
nice,
limit. You can do as many. The most I've probably done is 3 or 4 at a time because I find that's easy to manage. The
mm,
builders, the payments, managing the whole project is easier. Over that,
mm.
it's a bit overwhelming, a bit stressful. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And also, it has to be steps. And right now, how many? I know your portfolio you said is like about 7 million pounds, but how many properties or how many doors do you have? Because I know probably once it gets a lot, it's going to be hard to manage. So, how many properties do you have, and how are you managing those properties?
yeah, I'm not actually 100% sure, maybe 30, 40, I'd say, because I measure it in value terms.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, so yeah, maybe around that. I've got a
no,
team, so I'm a massive believer in not working in your business, working on your business. So I set my property business up from the start that, if I'm not here for 12 months, it can still run and it's still
nice.
dealt with. I don't want to be dealing with tenants. I don't want to be dealing with builders.
Mm,
I don't want to be doing DIY. So I have a team in the office that manage it all for me. So I get to work
nice.
on the strategy and work on the bigger things I want to buy. Like um about 6 months ago, I bought, no, it can't be 6 months ago now, maybe 10 months ago. I bought
Mm,
a big plot of land and I'm doing storage containers. So it was bought as a
mm,
business. So it was already caravan storage in the UK. And I'm replacing
nice.
those caravans with containers. And I'm going to take the turnover from about 60 grand a year to £500,000 a year. Now, the way I'm
Wow.
doing it, it'll mean that I bought the land for about 700,000. I'm going to spend 1.2 million on containers, but when I'm done, that and when I've got the turnover to 500,000, because there's very little operating costs, so the profit is like 80%. It's
Wow,
insane. I'll
that's
be able, that
crazy.
land and container business will be valued at 6.5 million. So then I'll be able
Wow.
to flip it and bring the money in or do something with that. But
No,
again,
nice.
it's
No,
my full team that manage it.
I love that strategy. Like, that's like crazy. And I love that creativity. Can you talk more about how you build team members? Because I know also like building a team is a skill by itself. Like you can hire the wrong team members and you can lose your business basically. So can you share more of your strategy and how you build a team member? Because I know you have a good system in the place, I guess, in my opinion. So I would love to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, building teams can be hard, and the challenge is you need different team members at different stages.
Mm,
Also, you need to know I'm probably not the best people manager.
mm,
I've not got a lot of patience. I
yeah.
like to run around and do lots of things, and I like to be doing stuff. I don't want to be, managing people. So very early on, I would bring the people on, we train them. And what we found out is the CVs didn't really matter. So we like
Mm.
finding talent all over. Like my latest team member who's in charge of growing my social media, she was a lifeguard. She didn't have any
Oh, wow.
experience in social media, but her skills, when we did her disc assessment and we spoke to her, and I thought, my gosh, she'll go through mountains to achieve whatever. And we
Nice.
then hired an American company to help train us. So it's talent really, but in the beginning, we brought people in that would get us to a certain level. Then, because you get people that can build businesses and people that can run existing businesses, don't you? And
Mm,
sometimes the two aren't the same. So we've
mm.
gone through different MDs in our business, different senior execs, but I think it's bringing in the right talent at the right stages, knowing if you need builders, if you're a new startup, it's builders, it's people that are used to scaling. But once you've
Mm.
scaled, you then need the people that are used to running, £4 million plus businesses, because that's a very different skill than getting your business to your first million turnover, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Totally different. How do you find the people in the second level once you're scaling up? You build a business that's doing millions of dollars every year or pounds every year. How do you find the right team members who knows what they're doing to scale up the operation?
We would normally go on LinkedIn and go and find people that we like on
Mm,
LinkedIn that have got the similar track record. We would interview them, and we've sometimes done like assessment days where we've given them a challenge.
mm.
So we've given them the business P&L. Here's the staff. Here's the biggest
Nice.
challenges. Come and present and tell us what you would do in 12 months, where you'd get this business, what you would do.
Mm,
And then when you're interviewing them, you really get to see how creative they are, how they can think outside of the box. Are they going to be just because the problem with some people is they get stuck doing the day to day. That is never going to
yeah.
10x your business. When you're bringing in a senior manager, you want someone that can work on the business and can do the biggest things that are going to make the biggest jumps, not people that are stuck doing the admin and emails. But giving them that challenge really makes you understand whether they're going to be a key part of your team or not. And disc assessments are important because when you're getting to senior leaders, you need resilient people, people that can bounce
Mm,
back, people that are used to failure, very confident people, and people that can make decisions. But when you're recruiting junior members of staff, it doesn't matter if they can't make decisions. It doesn't matter if they've not got that confidence. You just need them
yeah.
to show up and be reliable. So the disc
Exactly.
assessment can really help.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. Because yeah, especially if you bring senior managers, like they kind of become you would replace yourself by them. They will deal with the challenges, day-to-day challenges, operations, scaling up. But yeah, then for other team members who are doing like day-to-day like task reports, I mean that really doesn't matter much. And how do you so once you hire the team members, how do you make sure they stay working with you for long term? Like how do you retain the team members? Or what kind of incentives or like bonuses do you offer them so that way they can get motivated and stay working with you for as long as possible?
We so we don't really get, so we've got a bonus scheme. We give them good holidays and things. The biggest thing for us is we bring them into our mission, what our mission
Mm,
is. So the people that I've recruited at the minute, because my job is not to be in the business. I want to just rock up at board meetings once a month, look at the P&Ls, direct the senior management team, and then bugger off for another month and make sure the business is run. So it's really important you get people that aren't there for the money. My senior
mm,
management team, my MDs in the business, because each of my businesses has a managing director that runs it all and is responsible for P&L and responsible for the
Nice.
money. But they're in with a mission. They understand what I'm trying to do. So my mission is I want to inspire the world to build wealth. And I want to inspire everybody to be free, financially free, no matter if they're not a millionaire, but if they've just got 20 grand a month coming in that'll look after them and their family, whatever it is. So that's my
Mm,
biggest mission. And I'm doing it in several different ways. We train people, we build them portfolios in Redmayne. So my MDs are in the mission. They're part of that. They want to help the world. They want to help every normal day people do extraordinary things. And
mm,
they stay because they're part of the vision and the mission. They don't stay because of the money. And I think it's really important when you're recruiting people that you recruit people that get excited and can get on your
mm,
page and are going to grow, because they will grow my business. Yes, they get well
yeah.
paid for it, but they'll grow it because they know they're making a difference in the world. And we do lots of
Mm.
charitable stuff as well, which they love.
No, I 100% agree with that because I remember even back then when I told you about my cousin, he came as an investor in my first business back then. I remember my first hire I hired, he lives in Pakistan. This was like 5 years, 6 years ago. He actually is still with me today because of the mission. Yeah, now that makes sense when you mentioned about the mission. So, and even I trust this person to the point where he just has full access to my bank account, everything. So
Yeah.
I know he's not gonna rip me off because I trust this person. And actually, this is gonna be an interesting thing. Like, how do you like? What's gonna be the point where? Because I know probably those senior managers on different businesses, maybe they have access to financial, like maybe bank account statements, something like that, or bank account access. But how do you trust people to the point where you give them access to everything, your credit cards, bank accounts, all of that?
So my senior managers don't have access to any of the bank accounts. We have a
No.
finance director
Mm.
that is actually my business partner's sister.
Oh,
She's
okay.
been finance director for huge, big global companies. She manages
Mm.
all our bank accounts. And then we have, so in the bank, no payment can be released without her seeing it and without her signing it off.
Mm.
And that's how we sort of manage with the protections from the bank. I don't want my managing directors in the bank because it's admin. At the end of the
Yeah, yeah,
day, day
yeah.
payments is admin. I want them doing the big things that are going to bring me the money in, and they don't want access.
Mm.
They're happy for the finance team to produce the P&Ls, and they do with the information, and then the finance team will do the payments, releasing, and all of that good jazz. I do think there's two things a business owner should never ever give up. So the first thing is the finances. You absolutely have to be in control of them, watching those and having the right things in place. Second is
Mm.
your marketing message, because you've seen big businesses fall because they've not had the right marketing message. So we make sure that we check what's going out from marketing. We understand how we're saying it, because that can damage your brand. So A,
Mm.
your finances could go tits up because you've given someone the wrong access, or B, your brand is damaged. And they're the two biggest things to scale your business.
Yeah. Especially if the brand is damaged, it's going to be really hard to rebuild that brand again. And I'm curious to know about your kind of social, because you do have strong social media presence. Like you have over 2,000 followers on Instagram, and you said you
I
hired
hope I don't
some.
have 2,000. I got 250,000.
Oh,
2,000.
250. Oh, did they say 2,000? Oh, sorry. Yeah, 200.
I was like, you've killed my Instagram.
Oh, sorry. I meant to say 200, over 200,000 followers. Yeah, my bad. So, so yeah, I mean, you built like strong presence, and I wonder like how did that started? Maybe was it because of the team member you hired, who was a lifeguard, or like what happened exactly that helped you to scale up to that level?
So January this year, um, we decided that I was going to be the face of all the companies and I was going to build social media. I got my
Mm,
Instagram to about 30,000. I wasn't on TikTok. Facebook was about 20,000 followers because I'd not really put the effort in. We
mm,
recruited Gia, who was the lifeguard. And me and Gia
nice.
sat down with, again, I'm massive on getting educated, getting the knowledge. We sat down, we figured out what we wanted to do. We then got an American company involved who helped to show us things that we needed to do and to support us. And yeah, we just put it into play. So it's taken time. So it does take time for me to go out, for me to constantly video. Gia's constantly editing, constantly firing them out. But yeah, so in nearly 11 months now, we've scaled Instagram to 250,000. Facebook's just touching
Nice.
100. TikTok's 114, I think, thousand. We've got so much more to do, but we're learning every day. So when we put a video out and it hasn't gone, we're like, did we use the right hashtags? Did we use the right sound? Did I just say the right thing? Or was I boring? And that's why people have
Mm.
scrolled off and nobody cares, because I've got to be really charismatic. So
Yeah.
every day it's a learning curve. But if we carry on doing what we're doing, we'll hit 1 million by March, is the plan.
Nice. No, nice. I love that plan. I'm curious, like, how often do you film videos for social media? Like, do you do that like once a week, once a month, or is it every day, or like how often do you like how do you plan your content schedule?
So this is not like business at all, and people are going to think that I'm off my head. But
Yeah.
I have to be in the mood to do social media. I have to feel it, and I have to want to tell because I have to think every single day. I have to think about what will my audience want to know? What's the biggest thing that I can give them that's value? Because I don't want to just
Mm,
put crap out. I'm not one of them, these influencers that put stuff out for the sake of it. I want to give the best things that I can give every day that are
mm,
going to help. So we do have in the diary that we'll film one day every other week and we'll go out and we'll film, but it depends because if I'm not feeling it, we don't film. And then I'll film
mm.
randomly when I'm out and about. Like this morning, I took my little girl to school and I was watching the other mums take their kids to school. And I've been broken into, my house has been broken into 2 days ago.
Oh
And I was
shit.
thinking about all of this. Then I was thinking again, my God, it's another byproduct of building wealth, building the money that my house got broken into.
Mm.
We were able to
Wow.
pay, get everything sorted. We've not had to wait for insurance money. I've got 24/7 security now because I've got the money. So I did
Nice.
a reel this morning that's going to be edited to go out. But yeah, I think with social media, you have to be, your heart has to be in it and you have to be filming when you feel passionate. So yeah, we're a bit all over the place. So we haven't figured
Yeah,
that out
yeah.
yet because,
No,
yeah, but
I
we
think
try.
that's the best thing because, for example, I follow Alex Hermosi a lot. Do you know Alex Hermosi? Uh,
No.
yeah. So he got like millions of followers and he just talks about business scale and all of that. And he shared his strategy. Like he just films, I think, twice a month and just full day filming and that's it. And his team is just
Yeah.
editing all of that.
Yeah.
And they just put that across social media. But yeah, I have been following him since I think 3 years ago, like or
Wow.
so. But when I first followed him, he only had like 50K followers, something like that. And today he has like closer to 4 million followers on YouTube alone. So yeah, I
Amazing.
have seen kind of his journey, and yeah, it's just interesting. How, but for me myself, I'm kind of I don't know how to say it, but whenever I get into the mode of social media, I just lose interest. And I would be posting for a week constantly, then I would stop. So yeah, that's just my problem with that. I need to be more consistent in that. And
Yeah, that was a massive thing. So we don't miss a day. Every single day something goes out for the
yeah,
algorithms.
yeah, for sure. Because I know when you miss a day or like even you miss a week, a month, yeah, it's like you're starting over again from scratch.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm curious about the education. I think you have like education business or like you help other people on how to invest themselves. I'm wondering like how did you get started in that? Like at what point of your life you get started into that? And I guess it's also part of the mission that you want to help. Maybe that's like the main mission, which is you want to help everyone to be financially free, basically. But what happened that made you start that education business?
So that's not my business. That's my business partner's business,
Oh, okay.
Touchstone. Yeah, and I train, and they gave me an amazing opportunity to come and help and
Nice.
train. So I train people as part of that business, and I attract people into that business. But that business is very special to me. It's not mine, but it is very special because without that education business existing, I would still be a single mum on my own, in heavily in debt.
Mm,
It was Touchstone that found me, along with Paul and Aniko Smith, its owners. And
nice.
what they do is unbelievable. The education and the support they give. I mean, in my first year of doing property, I made over £148,000. And that was
Wow.
working alongside a full-time job and kids. But
Mm,
Touchstone was amazing, and that's why I'm so grateful to be able to train on behalf of them and do stuff. And then it complements my own business, which is the we build portfolios for people. So Touchstone will train them, and if you've got a lot of money but not a lot of time, we then you come to my business and my business will handpick it. So like I build portfolios for people. I get them to get to, 10, 20 grand a month passive income. If they've got the cash, I can build them a UK
Nice.
portfolio.
Yeah, maybe let's talk about that. Maybe anyone listening, they can come to you and just invest with you. So, who are the kind of the type of people you want to work with, and how much return you can give them annually?
Yeah, so mostly it's business owners I work with. So people
Mm,
that have got businesses, the businesses are doing really well, they're producing a lot of cash, and it's where the cash goes. So I'll help them, and it can be as part of that business. We'll reinforce the balance sheet and buy them a load of assets, buy them commercial property, and it depends what they want because for what we build them. Mostly I buy new build properties in the middle of city centres. So Manchester, Birmingham in the UK. And yeah, they put down 25% of the property value,
mm,
will fund the rest with UK mortgages. So for example, if they've got 100,000 now, I'll go buy them something in the middle of Manchester, which is two-bed flat. That two-bed
nice.
flat will be worth what 400, 450. And that should give them what between 30 to 36 grand a year rental
Oh,
coming
nice.
in. And then you've got because Manchester's growing, so then you'll have the capital growth. So in 10 years' time,
Mm,
that property will be worth over 1 million. So just sitting on it, they've made what 550,000, and then they've had 30 to 36 grand a year every single year come in. So that's the type of stuff I'll
no.
do with them. And it's hands-free, no messing. The tenants they get in the middle of the city centres are professional, career, entrepreneurs themselves. So they pay really well. They'll normally pay 12 months rent up front. So everything's
Nice.
nice and done and sorted.
No, I love that. I would be interested in that myself, maybe. So, anyone outside of the UK can do that as well, or do they have to be in the
Yeah.
UK?
No, no, no. That's why I'm working with these Americans at the minute. So they've got a load of cash.
Mm,
They've never done UK real estate. So we set them up a UK limited company
mm,
that'll get the 75% lending. And that's what we're buying them, these apartments in the middle of Manchester and
nice.
Birmingham. We don't touch London because London's returns aren't there. So it's not the best place for their
Mm,
money. So a lot of the time we have to educate people and go, here's Manchester. It's not London, but it's the best place for your money. And here's Birmingham. Because a lot of the internationals just want to go to London because it's so well known, isn't it? Our capital.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone knows London for sure. So yeah, maybe let's take the last part and just talk about. I'm actually curious about the future for you. What exactly are you going after? So let's say maybe for the next 3 to 5 years, like who do you want to become and what exactly do you want to achieve? And I don't want just a fluff answer. I want to help people, all of that. I understand that you want to help people, but what exactly like do you want to build?
A fluff answer. I don't do fluff answers, so you're
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Um, so I would like to take my business over 50 million. That's
Nice.
a really important thing for me to do, to have built and grown that business. And then I don't know whether I'll float that business or what I'll do with it, but that business will be over 50 million. My influence, I would like to have 10, 20 million followers all over the world, because the more followers I have, the more people I can reach and the more people I can
Mm,
help.
nice.
Um, and I think and I just want to enjoy life. I've got to a point now, I'll be turning 40 next year. I know I only look
Oh,
20,
nice.
but I will be 40.
Yeah,
So I just
yeah,
want
you
to
look
enjoy
young.
and
That's good.
yeah, I want to enjoy and travel more and do lots of things. I'll probably buy more businesses and invest in more businesses and do a little bit what you're doing. Maybe not
Nice.
flip them, but I would like to buy businesses and scale them. So yeah, it's just my challenge is time, because I could do loads of things, and
Yeah.
I could get carried away trying to do five things and only do one really well. So I like to try and focus.
Yeah, for sure. And let's focus on the maybe the financial aspect, 50 million, let's say in 5 years. What challenges could get in your way from not achieving that? And how can
It's
you overcome them?
going to be the scale of the business and the growing pains of the business, because in the last 4 years we've grown it really fast to what it'll
Mm,
be touching 6 mil
mm,
turnover, and that's from zero. So that's really fast growth
nice.
in any business. And we've
Yeah,
burnt staff out, and we've burnt processes, and we've got loads of stuff wrong, because you're doing a business, you get stuff wrong and then you get shouted at. So I think the
yeah.
biggest challenge we're going to have is we've done the mathematics, we've got the model, we've done the forecasting. 50 mil, 100 mil is realistic, is doable.
Mm,
But the challenge is going to be burning processes, getting stuff wrong, and being able to be resilient and get over them
mm,
lumps while we're growing as well, and trying not to
mm.
burn all the staff out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It seems like you have a clear plan on how you can get there. So I'm curious, like, what is the plan you have in mind to get you to 50 million or even 100 million in 5 years?
It's more scaling everything that we've got now. So we run a lot of marketing funnels. So someone will
Mm,
come and download our deal lead magnet. They'll see me on social media. They'll be on our website. We bring them into our database. We give them some seminars and stuff. We work with them one-on-one, and it's just scaling all of that. We've just
mm,
launched a partnership in Monaco. So I'll be working with very high net worth people over there to help them build
nice.
portfolios. We'd like to crack the Middle East, and we're starting to do a few things in Dubai. So I think it's going to be making the business more internationally known, as well as
Mm,
turning everything that we've got now. Because I know from we get one person that downloads a lead magnet, I know how long it's going to take them, where they'll decide to buy, and how we can help them buy UK
mm,
property. So it's just turning everything up, really. It's literally just a numbers game. I know how much marketing and spend I'm going to need to do for where it's going to come out. So yeah, a bit of turning
mm,
up UK, because the UK's got it, and reaching out internationally. And that's a challenge,
nice.
isn't it? Being able to conquer one thing and reach out as well. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I know
that's
we'll
like
do it.
yeah, for sure. The systems processors, yeah, is going to help with that. Yeah, because I know that funnel journey is probably, I don't know how long it takes for you, but probably that takes months or even maybe years for some people before they do business with you. So,
2 months our
oh, two
average lead
months.
time is. Yeah,
Oh,
because
no,
we
that's good.
nurture
That,
them. Yeah, we're really into them. So I know, say, I spend, I don't know, 30 grand on ad spend today. I know
mm,
that's going to come in January, and those people will
nice.
be ready to buy in January. So I know it's literally just a numbers game.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. And also you have to be patient because especially when it comes to marketing, most people they spend money today, they want that next day. And that doesn't happen. So for you, you need to wait 2 months here. And so I'm curious, maybe this question will challenge you. I just want to see how you would think about this. So let's say to achieve that 50 million in 5 years, you only have 90 days to achieve that, not 5 years. And you didn't have any other choice but making that happen in 90 days. It's either you live or die situation. So what actions, what steps do you need to take to hit that in 90 days from now?
I'd need to. So we've never lent any money for our business. We've never had any private investment come in. We've done it all ourselves. So my
Nice.
first way, so I've got two ways I could do that. The first way would I'd go out and leverage the business with a load of debt, plug it all into marketing, and that would bring it in. Or I
Mm,
could go and buy an agency already, because we are classed as a real estate agency, and we've got lots of
mm,
competitors out there that are very, very good and do it very well. So my other option would be go and buy one of those, merge those into the
yeah.
business and do it. So either go and get some money and put more money into marketing, or go buy another agency.
Nice. And let's say if you have 1 year, like more time, would you still do the same thing or would you change something about that plan?
I think it would be the same thing. It's either more money you need
Mm,
on the front end,
mm,
because every pound you put into your business brings, or dollar brings,
yeah.
the money in. But we've always prided ourselves that our company hasn't got any debt. So it makes it a more valuable company, because it's not having
Yeah.
any debt. It's built from itself. But yeah, so that would be hard to get the board on board with having debt for the company. But if we were going to do
Mm,
it, or we would go and buy another business and raise the funding to go
yeah.
buy another business.
Yeah, for sure. So my last question for you today, I asked this to everyone I have in the podcast, is that if today was your last day in life and anyone around you, they will forget everything you shared with them except for one message, what would that one message be for them?
What would the one message be? Um, the one message would be not to limit yourself. I believe that every
Mm,
single human being has got extraordinary things inside of them. The only thing that stops people is they limit themselves and they tell themselves they can't do it. So my message would
Mm,
be don't limit yourself and go and live your dreams because you only get one life. That's it. It's gone. And everyone's
yeah.
got a talent inside of them. Everyone is exceptional. They just need to unleash it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And I love that message. So, lastly, like how can people find out more about you, or even if you're an investor, how can they get in touch with you to invest with you?
Yeah, my website is abihookway.com, or you can find me on all the social media platforms.
Nice. And also, I'm going to include the links in the description below.
Thank
So make
you.
sure you go follow Abby, give her some love, and also let's watch her journey. Even follow her Instagram. Maybe let's see if by March she hits 1 million followers or not. I know you will. So,
Absolutely. I'm not
yeah,
stopping.
yeah, for sure. Thank you, Abby, for coming on today. This was awesome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.